Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaopen.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. Today I'm going to be talking about finding your purpose in life. So many people go throughout life thinking that they have to find their purpose and they're not really sure how to go about it. So today I'm going to talk about what it means to find your purpose and some tips for maybe finding that purpose a little bit easier and with a little more grace. So if you are new to this podcast, I want to welcome you. If you are returning, welcome back. So finding your purpose in life, this seems to be the end-all, be-all question, and what everyone aspires to do in life is to find their purpose. So many people out there floating around going, I don't know what my purpose is, or I'm stuck in a career that I don't like. I don't know if this is my purpose. And we just feel lost when we don't know what our sense of purpose is. So why do you need a sense of purpose? So applied psychology found that individuals with high levels of eudaimonic well-being, which involves having a sense of purpose along with having a sense of control and feeling like what you do is worthwhile, they tend to live longer. Other researchers found that well-being might actually be protective for health maintenance. So in research, they found that people with the strongest well-being were 30% less likely to die during the 8.5-year follow-up period. So having a strong sense of well-being and purpose actually helps you to live longer. And I don't want you to panic or think, oh great, I don't know what my purpose is. I feel lost in life. I'm going to die young. That's not what that means. It's just that feeling fulfilled in life helps you to feel happy and joyful. And when you feel happy and joyful in life, as you would imagine, you tend to live longer. And why? Because you're less stressed. When you're stressed out and you don't enjoy your job and you don't enjoy what you're doing, you have higher levels of cortisol in your body. Higher levels of cortisol do a lot of damaging things to your body. So it makes sense that if you're happier and more at peace and you love what you're doing, you're going to live longer. And that's not to make anyone feel bad if you're right now not in a place where you feel like you're living your purpose or you feel fulfilled. Please don't take it that way. Most of us wander through life not really realizing what our purpose is, and we don't discover it until later in life. In fact, that is part of the journey here. It is my belief that we come here with a blueprint for our lives, and we know what our purpose is, but then we get here and we suddenly have amnesia and we don't remember that blueprint. And so many of us wander around for a long time feeling lost, trying to find what our purpose is. And part of our journey here on earth is trying to get back to the truth of who we are, why we came here, and what we're supposed to do. So if you're not there yet, please don't feel bad about that. Many of us are in the same boat. We're still trying to figure it all out, and it's not easy. Even though we had a blueprint, we don't remember it and we can't see it. So for most of us, we're wandering around blind right now, trying to figure out what direction we should be going in, where we should be turning, what we should be doing next. So if that's the way you're feeling, if you're feeling like you're lost, don't feel bad, you're not alone. And if you feel like, I think I'm finding my purpose, this might be helpful just to kind of reinforce that. That's great if you have. I love that. That is what it is all about, is finding the things that really fulfill us when we're here on earth. So what can you do if you feel like you're sitting there stuck, like, I don't really know what I should be doing? How can you really find your purpose in life? One of the number one things that you can do to try to help you find your purpose is to find what your passion is. And you can do that by donating your time or donating money or talent to different things, because often when we're helping others or we're doing things that really make us happy in our spare time, that lends us to finding our purpose. So some very wise people have said that if you just focus on serving others, your purpose will serve you. In other words, if you're serving others and you're doing things and you're out in the community and you're helping others, you're going to probably find your purpose in life. And your purpose isn't necessarily tied into your career. And some people think falsely that your purpose has to mean that you're going to be broke for the rest of your life, that you're just volunteering your time forever. That is not what that means. There are a couple of ways that you can fulfill your purpose in life. Your purpose isn't necessarily your career, and I think a lot of people make that mistake. They think that we came here and to live out our purpose, and this is the career that we've chosen. Those are not the same things. Sometimes they can be. But it is not necessarily one and the same thing. Your purpose is not always your career. It can be things that you do on the side to help others. Your purpose is where you are serving others. So sometimes that isn't your job. There are a lot of people out there who are healthcare professionals or teachers, and those are the kinds of careers where it just generally lends yourself to serving others. So if you are in that profession, it may be that, yes, that is your purpose, is in serving others, and you happen to do that in your career. But there are other careers where perhaps you chose a career and you're thinking to yourself, this career isn't about serving other people. It's mostly about making money, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that it's not your purpose in life. Your purpose in life has more to do with how you serve others. That can be in your career, but it can also be in other ways. If you volunteer in the community, or maybe you're just active in the community, and those are ways you can serve other people. So if you're not really sure, let's say you're in a career and maybe you like your career, but you don't feel it is perhaps serving others. So there is a way that you would like to feel more fulfilled. Maybe you like your career, but you don't feel like you're fulfilling some sort of life purpose. I said that in a long way to get there, but that's what I mean. Perhaps you don't feel like you are fulfilling a purpose, but you do like your career. That's okay. How can you serve others in other ways in your life? So being altruistic is a great way to really serve others, and that can be volunteering. It can be donating money. It can simply be that you are a person who helps everyone from day to day. I know people who buy coffee for the person behind them in Starbucks. That is a very altruistic action, and you are helping people without realizing it. You might be someone's blessing. So whatever way, big or small, that you are serving others, that is really how you find your purpose. It can make you feel, when you do that, as though your life has meaning. And a lot of people help by passing out food at the food bank or collecting clothing for clothing drives. There's a lot of ways to give back. It is really about finding the way that you can help, and in a way where you feel like you're best serving others. Also, listen to feedback from others. You may be very passionate about things, and maybe there are things you're not that passionate about, but you do it, and people say to you, oh my gosh, thank you for giving back. Listen to what other people are saying. If there is a way that you are serving your time, your talents, maybe you don't feel like it's that much. Maybe you're like, oh, all I do is I drop off one meal a week to this person. Listen to what people say, because if you're helping and you are serving a purpose, you're serving someone, people will speak up and say, thank you for doing that. And oftentimes what we do can feel like it's thankless. Being a teacher, I can tell you that many times it feels like what I do, no one notices. But I always have a student or two who will come up to me and tell me, thank you for teaching me, or you're my favorite teacher. And it's then and in that moment that I realize all of the days that I do what I do, I'm serving a purpose. So listen for what people are really saying, because it may be hard to understand or feel like what you're doing really makes a difference. But I guarantee you that if you are serving someone in some way, it is making a difference for that person. So listen to the feedback that you get. Also, it's really important to surround yourself with positive people when you can. Because if you're around negative people, you may say, hey, I'm going to go do this today. And they may say, why do you waste your time? Nobody cares. Oh, those are just greedy people who come to get the free food. They don't really need it. Or we're just feeding lazy people. People are cruel and they will say the meanest things. And I say it doesn't matter who you're serving. If someone comes out because they need the food, we shouldn't be questioning or judging why they need it or why they're there. We're there to serve. We're simply there to help and to give back. It doesn't matter why the person is there. We don't know what's going on in anyone else's life. People could show up in a luxury SUV and perhaps that week they lost their job and now they don't know where their next meal is coming from. It is not our place to judge anyone else in what needs they may have. We're simply there to serve. So if you go out there and you are in the food line and you're handing things out and your friends are saying to you, why are you doing that? You don't make a difference, or there's just lazy people coming to get food. You need to disconnect from those people, or just not talk about that with those people. People who are negative will discourage you and cause you to want to quit what you're doing. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to continue to give back. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with, because those are the people who are making positive changes. I talk about this all of the time. There is a ripple effect, and there's a great starfish story, and my mom always tells the story, and I even told it in a job interview that I went on when someone said, why do you want to teach? And my mom always had this story. It was hung up on our refrigerator. She found this in the newspaper, that when you cut out things from newspapers, she had this on the refrigerator door so that she could see it every day. And when she became a teacher, she started looking at this every single day. And the story of the starfish is that there was a man walking along the beach and there were thousands of starfish all washed up on the shore. So he began one by one picking them up and throwing them back in. And another man came along and said, why are you doing that? There is no way that you are making any kind of difference. There are thousands of starfish out there. You're just wasting your time. And with that, the man picked up one starfish and he said, I make a difference for this one, and threw it back into the water. And that is what teaching and anytime you volunteer, that's what it's all about. You may not be able to affect every single person, but there's one person that you're going to have an impact on. And your positive impact creates a ripple effect, because maybe you work in the food line that day and you put groceries in someone's car, and maybe that person wasn't sure how they were going to eat that evening, and now they have food for their family, and maybe they eat and they say, now I have the energy to go out and help my neighbor cut their grass, or maybe I can take my neighbor to the store to get their medicine. It creates a positive ripple. The one positive thing that you do for someone else, then someone else turns around and does something positive, which then creates something positive, which creates something positive. It is a ripple effect. And we have the ability to either create a negative ripple effect. You could go up to someone and say, you're the dumbest person on the face of the earth. And then that person would be sad and turn around and say something mean to someone else. And that creates a ripple effect. Or you could choose to be the person who does something positive, which then creates a positive ripple going around the world. And whether or not you think you matter, you absolutely matter. And what you do matters. It truly matters. So even if you think no one sees what you're doing, no one knows, believe me that someone does. Absolutely someone knows, and you matter to someone, and what you do is important to someone. So try to surround yourself with positive people, because they are going to push you to continue to be your best self. Also, try to start new conversations with people where you can. If you don't know people, I know that it can be challenging, because if you're socially awkward, and believe me, there are moments when I just want to hide in a corner and not talk to anyone. And when someone new comes up to me, it's like, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. If we're awkward, that happens. But if you can push yourself outside your comfort zone instead and talk to people, sometimes it can open your eyes to new career opportunities or new volunteer opportunities, or perhaps you may notice that you have the same interests and maybe they invite you to go do cool things. It can open your eyes to a lot of new things. And also, don't be afraid to explore your interests. Again, it's going to require you to step outside of that comfort zone. But I know that you guys are capable of doing that, as I've had to do this in my life many times. But when you step outside your comfort zone and you explore what really interests you, you may find things that really cause you to discover your purpose. And I will talk about myself. I had a psychic medium tell me years ago, like, you're going to be a healer. And I laughed. I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life. I thought, yeah, this lady's fake. What is she talking about? I'm a teacher. I don't even have no abilities whatsoever. And it wasn't until years later that and I forgot all about this conversation, that it came to pass. And it came to pass because I broadened my horizons and I started listening to new podcasts and listening and studying new things that led me to healing and led me to Reiki and all of these things. And then it just so happened that everything fell into line where, the universe said, you need to be doing this. And I really felt like it was something I had to do. And if I had not ventured out and discovered new things, I would never have found it. You would not be listening to me on this podcast today, because I would still be doing the same old thing. So you have to break outside of that comfort zone sometimes. Also, think about maybe some injustices that bother you, because a lot of people end up taking passion projects on that have to do with injustices in the world, whether it might be caring for animals or perhaps child abuse, whatever it is. If there's something that every time you see it, maybe you see something on the news, or maybe you see one of those ASPCA commercials where Sarah McLachlan, I don't even know if that's the right commercial, but she's singing In the Arms of the Angels and they're showing sad animals and you're bawling your eyes out going, why does this have to be this? Why are we so mean to animals? If there's something that really triggers something within you, that could be a part of your purpose. Maybe you've come here to donate your time to working in an animal shelter, or maybe you've come here to advocate for children. There's so many different amazing causes out there. And honestly, when we find something that lights up our soul, that is a truth coming down to you. Like, this is what I came here to do. I came here to change the world. And sometimes we think that if we came here to change the world, it means we have to lie down in the middle of a highway to protest. It's not what that means. There are people needed behind the scenes. Maybe you're the person who gets on the phone and just calls people and says, hey, can you give us some money? Or maybe you're the person who takes care of the animals, who shows them love and kindness, or children who shows them love and kindness. There are so many people who are needed for so many different things. What is it that bothers you when you see it? Maybe that is a calling that you could in some way help out in that particular area in life. And the other thing is, what do you love to do? What you love to do sometimes can help you find your purpose. Do you absolutely love singing? Are you good at it? Maybe your purpose involves something that has to do with singing. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be the next Nicki Minaj or whoever on stage, and I'm just saying a name, so please don't, you don't like her, I'm sorry, that's just the first name that came out. Maybe you're the next opera singer that goes out onto the stage, but you don't have to be. Maybe you are someone who likes to work with children and run a camp for children who love music. There are all kinds of ways that you can use what you love that helps others. There are people who create camps for children with disabilities or just regular children that helps them to cope with what's going on. Because believe it or not, those things, theater camps, language camps, all of those things are so super helpful for kids because they're processing and dealing with so much right now. They need outlets to help them de-stress and do things that are actually fun and that maybe give them skills later on in life and can teach them things. They need more of that. So what is it that brings you joy? And it may be something like analyzing data. That's okay too. There are a lot of research teams out there that need help with that. We're all different. What is it that you're good at? What do you love doing? What is your passion? And how might you be able to turn that into something meaningful? And you know what? We always have Google too. So maybe you can sit down and figure out what your passion is. Maybe you don't know how in the world you could turn that into anything that could be a purpose in life. Google it. Okay, this is a new verb now. Google it. Put it into Google and say, this is what I'm good at. How can I use this in a career or for free time? What can I do? And you probably will be amazed at what shows up. Because the one thing that I think schools really fail kids at is in showing them the potential for future careers. And the reason for that is that it is changing so rapidly. We are educating children to go out and to be into careers that have not yet been existed. We are educating them to go into careers that have not been created yet because it is so quick, fast-paced, and ever-changing in the market out there. So perhaps your skill could be needed in a job that's not yet available, but maybe that's where you come in. You see how open-ended it really is. The world is your oyster, seriously. There's so many possibilities out there. You just have to be open to finding them. And finding your purpose is not something that you do in a day, an hour, a week, a month, a year. It's not. It is a journey. Sometimes it's a lifelong journey. And sometimes our purpose in life changes. We don't always have the same purpose from year to year. It does change. So be willing to be flexible. Be willing to be open. Be willing to have patience and show yourself kindness. Because maybe today you feel like doing one thing, and maybe in a year from now you say to yourself, I don't want to do this anymore. We have falsely led people to believe that you have to get into a career and stay in it for 30 years. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Your taste buds change every 5 to 7 years. Obviously, your taste in what you enjoy doing is also going to change. And it probably changes maybe even more quickly than that. So why do you have to stay at the same thing that you hate doing day after day after day? You don't. And it doesn't mean you have to get up and quit your job tomorrow. Maybe it's something you do on the side. Maybe it's something you do just on the weekends, whatever. Start small. You don't have to change your entire life tomorrow, and no one's asking you to do that. It's about taking one small step at a time towards finding what makes you feel happy and fulfilled. Whether that is a hobby where you're serving others, and it could just be a hobby where you just enjoy it. But I promise you, if you love doing it, it's probably serving others in some way, whether you realize it or not. Just do what makes you happy and get out there and branch out and open your eyes to what is really out there and available to you, and step outside of that comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try new things in order to figure out what makes you happy, because that's really what it's all about. What it truly comes down to isn't about necessarily finding your purpose even. It's about finding what makes you joyful and happy. Because when you find your happiness and your bliss, your purpose generally follows. So I hope that you are feeling blissful and happy about whatever it is that you're doing right now. But if you are not, please step outside that comfort zone. It's time for you to break away from your comfort zone and figure out what's really going to make you happy and what's going to bring you passion in your life again. All right, guys, I wanted to pull a couple of cards for you today, and the cards I pulled for you are from the Archangel Oracle deck. The first one is Clear Your Space. It's Archangel Jophiel. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. And the second one is Gentleness. It's Archangel Sandalphon. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. And yes, that's always good to be gentle with yourself. This is a journey. You will not get there in one day, and you shouldn't. Take your time, go slow, be gentle with yourself, take breaks when you need to. All right, guys, don't forget, if you like this podcast and you want to listen to episodes 5 days a week, you can join me over on Patreon. The link to join is in the show notes. And if you join my all access group, not only will you get 5 episodes a week of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, but you will also get behind the scenes videos of me recording the podcast when I have guests. You will get card readings and guided meditations, as well as other bonus material. So I would love to see you over there. Please consider joining me. Also, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. And if you want to follow me, you can join me on social media. I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading. If you show up for the live, I'll pull a card especially for you. And if you want to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. You can even book a free discovery call with me if you would like to work with me, but you're not really sure what session you want to buy. You can just book a free call with me and we can talk about it and I can tell you how I might best serve you. Or you can simply message me. I am open to receiving messages through email or any of my social media accounts. I love hearing from you, so don't hesitate to reach out. As always, I hope you guys are having a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.